What is going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Forward Thinking Founders. I am very grateful to have your attention, at least for the next 15 minutes of this episode. Forward Thinking Founders is a podcast where I interview pre-seed and seed stage founders about their products, what they want to build into the world, and why. We dive into how they spend their time, what's their vision, what's their origin stories, all these things, so you can learn all about what's coming tomorrow. Because these companies haven't hit critical scale yet. Most of them haven't hit product market fit. These are just early stage companies, and the big question is, what can this be? And in this podcast, we bring that out. So with that, I really hope you enjoy your time listening to today's episode. And I've already done 200 plus, so if you like this one, listen to some of the other ones, like with Imadi Kund, Austin Allred, Leah Culver. We have great interviews, so check it out, enjoy the repository, and for now, let's get into today's episode. Here we go. All right, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Forward Thinking Founders, where we talk to founders about their companies, their visions for the future, and how the two collide. Today, I'm very excited to be talking to Camille Lehujeur, who's a co-founder of Work with Data. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
It's going great. Thanks, Matt. I'm very happy to be here. So thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. When I found you on the internet, I'm like, this is one of the coolest things I've seen recently. So I had to kind of learn more and kind of share it with the audience. So I guess to start, what are you working on? What is Work with Data?
So I'm one of the co-founder of Work with Data, and our goal is really to become the universal source of data. So what we want to do is we're building a platform where everyone can access data on everything. And when I say everything, it's really everything, any topic that you could think of, the environment or literature, politics. And we're only using reliable sources, so you can totally trust the data that's presented. For each topic, we really select the sources that are seen as reference on a topic. So for instance, for literature, we're going to look at the British Library. For economic data, we're going to look at World Bank. And we really want the platform to be usable by anyone. So we're presenting data in all its shape. You can find raw data sets, but you can also find directly graphs, charts, maps, so that you can use it even if you don't have any skills in data. And what we believe at Work with Data is that in the future, work is going to be based on data. Data can bring so much value in anything you do as a professional. We've seen it recently, unfortunately, with the COVID, but there's a lot of appetence for data. People want to make decisions based on data. And a lot of organisms are publishing data everywhere in any topics, but this data is not really used currently. And this is a huge issue. And this issue is very simple. People don't have the time to go to all the different sources, and they don't have the skills. If you're, a commercial working in any industry, you are not going to be able to, extract data that's huge and pre-process it, clean it, put it in shape, and then use it in one presentation. So this is what we do at Work with Data. To be very simple, we do this heavy work of selecting the sources, extracting the data, putting everything together, connecting all the different sources into what we call our knowledge graph. And then we create visualization, we create analysis, and we make it available for everyone on our platform.
So when you go to your website, you are thrown immediately into this incredible webpage of all these different charts and graphs. I'm kind of curious, how do you decide kind of what data to track, or do you just try to track like all the data, like anything there is to track? Is that what you're trying to kind of get onto your website, get into your data set?
Yeah, so it's a bit the end goal for us to have all those different topics available on the platform. We really believe that we could become the largest open data set in the world, more or less. For the moment, of course, it's not the case. We're still early stages. We began a bit by what we were interested in. So you have art, literature, which are topics that we're interested in, as well as the most famous sources. So for instance, the World Bank, it's very famous worldwide. And now what we're doing is we're listening a bit to our users to see what they're interested in. We're tracking what people are looking at to enrich them based on this feedback from our users. We also have created a roadmap page on our website where anyone can input their needs, what they would like to see. And then based on that, we decide where to prioritize and what kind of data to look at.
Tell me a little bit about the origin story here. Why did you decide to work on this, when you first got started?
Yes, so maybe to make it a bit clearer, I can give you a bit of backstory of who we are, the co-founders, because that's going to make everything clearer. So it's two of us, Laurent and I, and we were both working at Criteo with a leader in the ad tech industry. So we've been working together for the past 4 years in this company. Laurent had been already there and has done 9 years in total at Criteo, and he was the director of EMEA in data science and analysis. And myself, I was leading a team of data analysts for Northern Europe. So we were both data professionals, and in our work, we were really used of extracting data and then building a story about it and delivering graphs and charts that the commercial teams could use to help clients of Criteo make decisions. So it was a bit our backstory. And then there was COVID. I mean, I'm not teaching you anything. There was this COVID situation, and we're both based in the UK. And in the UK, we had a Q1 of 2021 entirely in lockdown, which meant we could only get out to go for supermarkets. And we were getting a bit bored, to be honest, a bit too much of Netflix. And we began talking with Laurent about all this data, because we love working with data. And we're like, it's such a shame. There's so many topics that we love, and there's so many data, and no one is doing about it. No one is doing anything about it. So we were getting a bit frustrated about it. And we decided, okay, let's work on this as a side project. So we do our job at Criteo, and then in the evening, instead of doing some Netflix, let's just work on this data and try to make it accessible. So that's how we began. For a few months, we were working on it. For me, it was during the night. For Laurent, it was early in the morning. And it was really something that got us through this lockdown. We loved doing it. And when it ended, the lockdown, we were just, okay, it could be bigger than this. We really believe there's value in what we're doing. We love what we're doing. So let's go full time on this. And we quit our job, and now we're full time on this project.
And as you're working on this, what do you spend your time on? Are you spending a lot of time scraping or plugging in? Are you working with people that want to work with data? How do you spend an average day in your work day?
Yeah, so it's quite hard to define an average day, because as an early stage startup, there's always new things coming on. For me, I would say a big part of my day is going to be really on the platform. So trying to write codes to make the platform work. So looking at all the bugs, improving the features, working so that on the platform you can get what you need and what you want. This will be part. A big other part of the day is going to be, of course, looking at how to enrich the content. So looking at all the sources that exist, selecting the ones that we're interested in to begin with, and then looking at, is it easy to extract this data? Can we build a pipeline so that the data is refreshed? Because we don't want a static view. We want the data to be refreshed whenever possible. And then cleaning this data. And last part of the day, I would say, is going to be user feedback. So a big part of what we do is just talking with friends, ex-colleagues, acquaintances, showing them the platform, getting some feedback, what worked, what doesn't work, what did they find easy to look at, is there any pain points on the platform, and then extending what we can do on it based on that. So there's a lot of feedback loop to build this platform.
Totally. You got to make sure you're hitting where the market is. But there's a part of building a startup, which is kind of leading the way, leading the market to what, where it's supposed to go, which is the vision and the mission of a company. So I guess my question for you is, if you were to look out 5, 10, 15 years into the future, what do you see as the big vision or the big picture for work with data? Or in other words, what direction are you rowing in every day as you build this out?
Yeah. So for us, the big vision is really all your work as a professional, you should, if you can, use data to make it more legitimate and give more power to it. So as a professional, any presentation you would do, any pitch, any discussion with your boss, you should try to find data about it, and your go-to platform should be us. So it should be really part of anyone's routine at work to go and work with data, find the data that could make your point even more powerful, and then use it in your work. So we really see us as almost like a Wikipedia of data. You know, as an individual, you're talking with your friends, you want to check a fact on one artist, you go on Wikipedia to check his birth date or whatever. And we would be the exact same, but on the data side, on the professional side. As a professional, you need a presentation, you go and work with data, you find the data that you need, and then you do your work in a more efficient way and more legitimate way.
In order to make that happen, you'll need some help, right? I mean, it takes a village to make a startup work and scale. So my question for you is, how can the forward-thinking founders community help? Are you hiring, raising money, looking for customers, people to help you compile data? You know, how can we assist?
So we're looking for a lot of things, and that's why also I'm very happy to be here. So the main point for us is really to get traffic on our platform. So to get users, customers, and get their feedback. So if people on forward-thinking founders can go on workwithdata.com, it's really easy, just workwithdata.com, you will find us. Have a look. If you don't find what you're looking for, what could be interesting, please leave a message on our roadmap page, or you can even contact me personally. I'm on LinkedIn, Camille Lehujeur. I will be more than happy to discuss with you. We're not yet hiring and raising funds, but it's on our to-do for next year for sure. So yes, any feedback from the community would be more than welcome.
And then for my last question, if someone wanted to check out the data, go to the website, learn more about you, how can they find you online? Do you have a website, social media, email address? How can someone learn more?
Yeah, so we have the website, workwithdata.com. Then we're also present on social media. We have a Twitter account, Instagram account, Facebook account. It's Work with Data each time. And you can send me an email at Camille, so my first name, at workwithdata.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming out of the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Matt. It was great to be able to discuss with you.